Good evening and welcome to what we hope will become the first of many webinars focused on empowering you, our Nussentials members, to effectively use social media in growing your business. My name is Jonathan McIntosh and I'm going to be your host over the course of these series on social media. And that empowerment is going to be a crucial part of what we're looking to achieve with this webinar approach. Some of you may have seen me at Reunion where I worked to essentially overwhelm you with a big picture overview of social media. We covered a lot of information in a very short time, and now is our opportunity to start to make sense of that chaos a step at a time. Now, I'm not going to promise that it's not going to be a lot of information coming at you, but you will have the opportunity now to digest that information in little bites, and hopefully we're able to answer your questions along the way. Today, in our first webinar, we're going to take a look at the steps involved in developing an advertising campaign on Facebook. As we go along, I will highlight some tools that will help you better develop an advertising campaign and will create an efficient approach to growing your business. One thing to remember is that we are not here to equip Facebook with more fun. We're here to equip you. So while we believe there are real opportunities out there to use this tool, there's also a cautionary tale to be understood. And that's how I want to start today. I want to start today with the why you shouldn't advertise on Facebook. A recent Gallup poll just came out about a week or two ago that says that 62% of Americans believe that social media in general has no sway on their purchasing decisions. 62%. Now, it's a big shift since 2011 in which 70 to 80% said it did. And so companies began committing vast resources to social media because they believed that was the next big thing, the big wave, the way they were finally going to convince their customer base to purchase big. So they began to develop audiences along the way. And they built these huge audiences, these huge followers, or what are called fans on Facebook, because they're interested in their brand. So much so that every year, social media advertising, $5 billion gets spent into that budget. $5 billion. So that in and of itself is intimidating. There are a lot of businesses that have been doing this for a number of years that are spending a lot of money to get in front of their target audience. The other reason maybe we want to be hesitant about social media advertising, specifically Facebook, is that it's in its early stages and evolving daily. They are going to make mistakes and assumptions about the things that are the best for businesses and the best for their consumers. So we don't want to simply drink the Kool-Aid. We don't want to just dive in head first and say, I'm going to invest everything I have into Facebook advertising because that's the wave of the future. We really need to allow perspective when we're developing advertising in Facebook, as in all things. So now that we got maybe the why not out of the way, let's talk a little bit about the why associated with Facebook advertising. Facebook advertising at its basic level is a very quick and inexpensive approach to reach a targeted group of people. A recent poll also came out that said it's about 35% lower in cost per conversion. And a conversion is when somebody takes action that you are asking them to take as a result of your advertisement. It's 35% lower than the online average advertising. That's pretty neat. And it can also be highly successful. Consumers who engage with the brands they already know about are more likely to be influenced by social media in their purchasing decision. It's another touch point in a series of touch points when you're developing a relationship with a customer or a business partner, as is the case with network marketing. The other piece is these companies that have built these followings on Facebook. And companies may be large and companies that are small, including Nussentials itself, has this captive audience now, right? Wrong. Facebook has changed the way that you're able to reach out to even your brand followers, your company followers. They've adopted what I like to call the postage stamp approach, because you may know all those people, but it still costs you 50 cents to mail a letter if you're trying to mail one across the country. They've taken that same approach and said, great, it's not really your audience, it's our audience, and we want to protect their interests. So we're going to limit how you can access them on a daily basis. We want you to pay to invest in reaching out to those followers. So they now force you, to people who even are fans of your page, to pay to have your message seen. That may be both a good and a bad aspect of it, but it is a reality associated with Facebook advertising. The other piece of this, however, is Facebook is a focus. People don't tend to get distracted from Facebook. They tend to get distracted by Facebook. It is an inundated part of our culture. We now have the opportunity to cut through the clutter of their lives, the distractions of their lives, and meet them where they are. They're looking to escape. They're looking to get their news. They're looking to just have a moment of rest and not think about the craziness of the world. Well, we can take advantage of that, not in a negative way, but a real opportunity, because we are looking, and we truly, those of us who are in this business, are truly looking to change lives, because we believe in what we're doing, and we believe we can help others do the same. And finally, I want to give the same caution that I gave at Family Reunion when I first presented the concept of social media, is that each aspect of social media is a touch point. It's not the end game. This is a step on the path to a relationship. Okay? With advertising, it's even a smaller step on the path. With advertising, if you're not advertising to your current rep base or your current following on Facebook, you're reaching out with no relationship and asking people to interact with you. In order to be effective at Facebook advertising, we need to think of Facebook as a tool to create curiosity, not sales. It's not about asking somebody to purchase something or commit to something then and there. It's about asking them to take a small step towards that purchase, towards that relationship. Because network marketing, the power of network marketing is really about that relationship and developing one that will sustain and last for years to come. It creates legitimacy in our products. It creates legitimacy in our business model. And it's sustainable. That's critical. With the distractions out there, we want to use Facebook as a tool, not an end game. So we've gotten into the why not and the why. So how about the how? That's really what the meat is of what we're looking to do here today, is talk about how do you go about advertising on Facebook. Well, the first part about advertising on Facebook is you need to be on Facebook. Now, there's my beautiful girls. That's Scotland and Paisley, and my wife in my profile picture here, Reba. You must have a profile page on Facebook. When you develop a business page on Facebook, it will be connected to a person. That is how Facebook works. It's always connected to a person. Now, you never have to be presented on your business page as a person, but Facebook likes to know who it's dealing with, and that's how part of how it controls having any spammers come in and just develop fake businesses along the way. Well, it still happens. The second step is you need to have a business page, and those are what are called fan pages. Okay, a business profile has a little bit different set of tools and functionality associated with it. But the most important piece for our conversation today is it broadens your opportunity for advertising. It gives you additional options that you wouldn't normally have when advertising simply through your personal profile. It also gives you a powerful tool or landing page, kind of a mini website for you to create content and continue to engage in conversation with those that you are bringing into the fold, those people who you are creating curiosity for. So we're going to take 30 seconds, and I'm going to show you very quickly how you can create a fan page or a business page on Facebook. On your personal profile, in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see a drop-down, little arrow pointing down, and you're going to click it. Now, I manage several pages or business profiles along the way, but we're going to create a new one. We're going to say Create Page, and a page, once again, is what is called a business profile. We're going to select what type of page we're looking to create. Now, there are a lot of options out there that you can create it for, but we're going to focus in on company, organization, or institution and click the box. From here, we're able to choose what category do we fall under. And for me, I usually pick between health and beauty or health, medical, and pharmaceuticals. And I'm going to select the company name. Now, company name, I highly recommend that every Nussentials business leverages the Nussentials name. This not only benefits you because it creates recognizable brand name in your company name, it benefits the community as a whole. The more time people see that name out there, the more powerful your company name becomes as a result. So you might put something like Nussentials, maybe Nussentials Rocks is the name of my company, okay? And I might click Get Started and begin step-by-step to build a page. There's only 2 or 3 steps associated with this. I'm not going to go forward from this page because I already built a training page for you that will show you what it looks like when you have the bare bones minimum associated with an event page or with a business page. So go to Nussentials Training. This is what you're left with. You're asked to create a profile picture, and you upload a profile picture, which is similar to how your personal profile works. And you're going to see a lot of similarities associated with a business page that you've seen at your personal profile. There are some major differences along the way. The way you do status updates has changed a little bit. You have a little bit more access to additional features and functionality associated with the status update. You're also, and we'll get more in depth with this in a future webinar, the people that are coming to your page are able to like your page and follow you. It's a little bit different than a friend request in which there's a back and forth relationship. We don't have to accept a friend request when you have a business page. People coming on simply like your page, and then they will have access to all the information that you present. The other prerequisite, now that we have a business page, is that you have a credit card on file. This might seem a little bit too obvious, but it's an important step. Make sure you're ready to put a credit card on file so that when you develop your advertisement, you can quickly purchase the necessary campaign that you're looking to build. When we're developing an advertising campaign, in reality, about 90% of the advertising planning preparedness, it happens offline. It doesn't happen on Facebook. What I mean by that is there are stages of development that take place that then get simply plugged into Facebook. We should already know a lot about what we're looking for, what we're hoping to achieve before we move into the Facebook advertising tool set. So today we're going to look at things in parallel because I think it's helpful to dive a little bit deeper into how the functionality of the system works in parallel to developing the strategy for advertising. When you want to advertise on Facebook, when you sign into your Facebook page, either your personal profile or, as is always accessible now that you have a business page on the, you can choose to use Facebook as a person or as your page. And I'm going to leave it as my page for now. In the upper right-hand corner, as you click the drop-down, you'll see the option to create ads. Simply click that, and you'll be directed to the ad campaign creator system. Now, Facebook does a really good job of helping you walk through thinking through the strategy associated with developing an advertisement. And the first thing they ask you is, what kind of results do you want for your ad? Or this gets to what I call the end game. What do you hope that your advertisement will accomplish? Are you trying to grow your brand reputation on social media? Meaning, are you trying to get people to follow you on Facebook? Are you interested in them attending an event that you're hosting? Are you interested in them going to a website that you have set up or watching a video that you have developed? Maybe even you have you've developed some content like a recipe guide, or you've developed a health guide that helps introduce the concepts and philosophy of Nussentials, and you think that that will be a valuable resource to people who are looking to change their lives in terms of health. And you want to get that out to them. So maybe you may be more interested in an offer claim. You're promoting a free download of your content if they simply provide you with some information along the way. Today we're only going to focus on a couple of things because I think we can get overwhelmed by all the various options out there, and some of them are more involved than others and require a level of technical expertise or development outside of Facebook. For us, we're going to focus in on an event. My name is Joe Blow, and I'm looking to create an event that takes that targets a certain set of people and encourages them to listen to a business presentation on how they can improve their lives and get out of the corporate world. Okay, it's very generic, but maybe that's my intention. Or maybe my intention is to focus in on the health aspect, and I want people to come to a free seminar on how you can get healthy quickly, and it will involve a consultation, a one-on-one consultation with in developing a plan for getting healthy. Okay? If that's what I'm looking to do, I'm going to select event responses. Okay? I'm going to create an ad to promote my event. Now, the neat thing about Facebook is Facebook helps you develop your event invitation as well. You want people, when they click on your ad, to go somewhere, to interact with something. You may be a little bit more tech savvy and have a website that you want them to go to register, but Facebook makes it easy and says, okay, now that you're a business, you can also create events and invite people to those events that you're going to be leveraging. Maybe it's a webinar like we're doing here today, or maybe it's actually going to a location. I'm going to go back to my page and show you very quickly how you can create an event. It's a simple process, but in your status update section, you can create an event that's a very high-level look. Let's see here. We can call this test event. We can spell right. Come and see how testing is done, where Facebook integrates directly with search algorithms and mapping capabilities. So you might want to put a specific location. Maybe it's a park in Denver. Let's see, here's a Lincoln Park in Denver. That's where it is. If you have tickets available, you can send them to a location to get tickets. But in this case, we may not have tickets. It's just simply you can come and it's free. Maybe I put free. We can set date and time, click categories, and simply click create. Sorry, create category. Okay, that's what a blank page looks like. From here, just like we can on our profile page, we can add photos to jazz things up a little bit. I've gone ahead and created an event. I'll show you here. I created a test event with a nice, pretty photo involved. Okay? Some information along the way, and I'm given insights as an administrator of my business page on who's going and who said maybe and who's invited. I also have the option for some sharing and invitation that are connected directly to my personal profile. So as an admin, I can say I want all my friends that I'm connected to come to this event as well, and I can invite them along the way. For now, we're focused on advertising to those who don't know about us. So we're going to go back now to the advertising page. We're going to create an ad. And we're going to say our advertisement is about event responses. That's what we want to focus in on. Now that we've created an event, it shows up here as part of my pages. And this is now viable for me to use as the foundation for an advertisement. Okay. So we've picked our end game. We want people to attend an event that will be focused in on creating a healthier lifestyle for that individual. Ultimately, they're either become a customer or they want to join our business. Okay? Think through, kind of the step point 1.1 is think through the path or the funnel that that person is going to take before they show up at your event. A person sees the ad. After clicking the ad, they're taken to the event page and they respond that they're attending. Well, is that it? Is that all we're looking to do? No. That's just one step, and we talked about that touch point thing. It's one touch point to get them to say, yes, I'm going to attend. I clicked a couple buttons, and all of a sudden I've committed. Now, commitment takes relationship. They have to want and be reminded of what they want in regards to the value associated with the event. So it's important, and this is one of the powerful components of social media, is you have the opportunity to interact with those individuals. Let's say they say they're coming to the event. Maybe it's your opportunity then to congratulate them on saying yes and send them a personal note or just comment and say, thanks for coming. If you shoot me a quick email, and here's my email, I'll send you a free recipe guide. Or I can follow up with you and talk through what you're hoping to achieve by attending the event. Maybe we can personalize it a little bit more. Then you want to send a reminder a couple days before, maybe even the day of. That way, when they get to that event, there's that feeling of knowing what to expect. And they know that there's a friendly face in the crowd. So what I'm going to do now is on the advertising page, I'm going to skip down a little bit. We've selected our event, and there's a preview pane here, but I'm going to skip down because what I think the next most important thing is understanding your audience. Who are you looking to target when developing your advertising? The way I look at it is, who do I connect with the best? This is really about relationship, not just short-term, but long-term. Who am I going to be able to connect with? Who do I have commonalities with, that I can talk a good game with, that I can feel free to invite over and continue the training above and beyond this initial meetup? That's going to benefit you because we're all busy, and we want to connect with people that are heading down the same path we are. The most powerful thing that Facebook offers is the ability to filter an audience. Facebook has watched you over the course of your time on Facebook. It sounds creepy, but it's true. They've been watching you, and they've been tracking what your hobbies are, what you're interested in. They are even tracking some of the demographics, what your race, gender, age is, geographically, where do you live. They know more about you than your BFF knows about you. Because every time you post something on Facebook or you like a business or you attend an event, it's compiling that data and putting you into categories. As businesses now, we get to leverage those categories, make the most of them. So as we work through developing our audience, we think through who do we want to be surrounding us at this event. We can say, okay, well, we're really focused in on an event, so we really want to keep it local. So I might put my local area, Thornton, here, Thornton, Colorado, right? And it automatically says, okay, we'll not just include Thornton, we'll include 25 miles around. Well, maybe I don't want that. I can choose to change that if I wanted to, or expand my parameters a little bit as well. I may also know that I don't want teenagers involved in this. I really want people that are a little ways in their career, or a more interesting perspective maybe, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I want other stay-at-home moms to be with me because we'll connect on that level. We both have kids. We both have all these distractions, and I've learned how to navigate that in developing a business for me. I want to share that opportunity with other stay-at-home moms because I believe it can make a positive impact in their life. So we can get to that level of granularity associated with stay-at-home moms. Okay. So if we choose some age ranges, maybe it's, let's see, we'll go 25 to 50, gender women. Maybe the interests associated with this. That's the wrong category. Maybe I'm also only interested in people that stay-at-home moms that play tennis. Okay, I might put that as their interest. Great, they're tennis players. Behaviors. I think it's more categories here. Figure out which one. I always get confused about which one it is. Families and relationships. Motherhood. Okay. From their interests. We can do home. And let's see, relationship, parents. We want all moms. And in this, we want stay-at-home moms. Okay, there's our category. Maybe we'll take out, we can do interests. Those are really people that are very interested in motherhood as a whole. Maybe they're liking categories associated with being a mom and doing what's best for their kids. So Facebook will check that. As we develop our audience, along the right-hand side, you're going to see a summary of the audience. It's called an audience definition. But this is a summary of everything you've decided so far. And the result is the potential reach of people that fit that category. So you can see that under this category, women 25 to 50, they're stay-at-home moms and are interested in motherhood, as well as play tennis. There's 5,800 people in the Thornton area plus 25 miles. That's pretty good. Facebook also helps you understand whether or not you are reaching an appropriate amount of people within this campaign. So they may say it's too broad. You're going to get lost in the mix. Or it's too specific. You're only going to reach a small amount of people. We like it to be somewhere in the green. You may choose to be more targeted. And you may only want to reach a very small amount of people because it's a very small set of people you get along with. You've never been very popular. That's okay. Facebook will allow that. So understand where they live, who they are, what do they like to interact with. Surround yourself with people that you like to be with anyway. Now we're going to scroll back up. Now we know our audience, we know our end game. Now we need to create our content. The nice thing about advertising an event is the content has already been created for us in a lot of ways. It takes the content that we have developed when we built the event page on the previous stage, and it imports it into this environment. We still have the option to edit some of the components of this. One of the most important pieces is the text piece up in the left-hand corner here. On the left-hand side is your edit tools. On the right-hand side is the preview of what you're editing. So in this circumstance, I may want to come in, and instead of saying, come to my event, maybe I am really focused in on the corporate people. and I want to target people who are bored with their job, and my event image kind of represents that. Okay? So I'm going to tag my text to my image and say, wish your work allowed you to work from here. Okay? It kind of gets at the heart of it. Gets that initial interest. It piques the interest because we're really about creating curiosity. We want somebody to ask the question, well, yeah, how do I do that? And that's what this event is. You're trying to get that initial click-through to where you can provide additional information. It's important that as you're funneling somebody through this process of advertising, that you're not stopping at the advertising. You're taking the time to develop an event page when you're developing a Facebook, an event page that really details out all the information needed, that they're not feeling like they're left wanting. When you're developing, an important aspect of developing text is to create an action verb associated. And in that, action verbs may be get, win, change, wit. There's things that have causal relationships. The other piece is create a value associated with it. It could be a very blatant value, or it could be a perceived value or abstract value associated with your advertising. In this, the value comes not just through the text, but also through the image. The idea is the value statement here is we can offer you a new opportunity to break down the chains of corporate world. So you can also do some interesting things like asking a pertinent question that insinuates a value. Maybe it's, are you tired of missing out on baseball games? And it implies maybe our image is about a relevant image where it's a kid that's just sad sitting on a baseball field with his glove. Maybe it involves and creates imagery that puts a person in that position and understands that, man, I really wish I could attend one of those baseball games. The other opportunity is maybe you, from a textual perspective, you cut through the clutter and you go negative. And I don't mean trashing Blake's political candidate. What I mean is you can come out and say things like, stop living a corporate nightmare. That has a very negative connotation, but it cuts through the clutter of happy-go-lucky. The other potential and the other important thing is be upfront about the value. You may want to, instead of being vague about it, you want to be very specific. One of the favorite ones that I was playing with was maybe feed starving kids while building your retirement. How good does that sound? Man, I wish there was a company that did that. Oh, wait, there is. When you're developing your text, make sure that you're also thinking just as much, if not more, about your image. The image is where you have a real opportunity to catch an eye. Be funny, be different, but be relevant. Don't just randomly throw a funny image out there and have your advertising content have nothing to do with it. Be relevant. Use an image that's bright and eye-catching, even when viewed at a very small size. And what you want to avoid is images that have too much detail, too much text. Offer something very simple, a very simple message. The image should represent itself. It shouldn't have to be explained. Now, a couple quick notes is Facebook, some of the most shared Facebook photos or most successful advertisements are of happy people from an advertising perspective, have lots of color, and women, kids, and pets are the most shared content. So if you can get a smiling woman holding a baby in one hand and a poodle in the other, and the poodle's dyed pink, you have a successful ad right there. Simple, got all the necessary components. Now you just got to figure out what you're trying to pitch. I would probably think of something clever. So imagery becomes an important part of what we're doing here with Facebook advertising. Now, on an event page, it's important to note the event page doesn't allow you to swap out the image when you're advertising an event. You have to use the cover image that you used for your event. Now, you can do the same approach that I'm about to do for a cover image, but you can also do this if you choose to do a different type of advertising. I'm going to show you real quick a different style of advertising that's not event-based. We're going to just click back here. And we're going to say we're interested in people liking our page. Okay. Now we're presented a little bit of a different format of creating the ad. We're going to have a little bit more power in how we organize and control our message and our imagery associated with our advertisement. The first thing I want to note is you're familiar with the text in this preview pane. But now we have the option to do additional images that are going to be helpful in producing a successful campaign. For that, there's a couple tools out there. Now, you may already have design background. You may want to do this on yourselves, and you may be willing to look up all the ratios and the size dimensions that you need, and you're savvy enough for that. For the rest of us, some great tools. One is directly integrated into Facebook is a stock photography system. And this will allow you to comb through, maybe we talked about, maybe we had woman and dog, and we're able to search through and find a woman holding a dog that's smiling. Oh, look at that, it's pretty close to perfect. Okay, you can select that image and you can directly incorporate it into your ad. Another great tool that I use quite a bit is a tool called Canva. Canva, you can sign up for free, and you can sign up simply using a Facebook profile, which is great. Once you are in it, it walks you through and provides content for whatever you're looking to do from an imagery perspective on social media. It even goes beyond social media if you're trying to do an advertisement or you're trying to do a one-sheet sales sheet for some of the Nussentials product, you can also leverage this. But for this circumstance, we can go directly over and slide over to Facebook ad and click Facebook ad. On Canva, it creates a canvas for you. Okay? The right-hand side of this is a canvas that we can work from that will be already pre-sized for the perfect dimensions that Facebook requires for its ad. It also allows you to pick from some pre-developed design content that you can edit to fit your needs. At the basic level, there's some layouts you can look through and find something that might represent your desired advertisement, or just simply get ideas for what you're looking to do. Maybe it's a health event and we're doing yoga. Well, that's pretty easy. I just click on that. It pre-populates it, and I can edit the text within the pane here. But maybe I want to create one from scratch. So I've gone ahead and done one for us, and I said, okay, I want this to be about, really it's about laptop lifestyle, and I really want to convey the fact that you can get away from the corporate nightmare. And so maybe I start out with a pretty background that I've just selected, and I searched here for beaches. And I brought back several images that could represent my idea. I then can, and what I did here is the beaches located right here. I then can click on text and use some really cool formatted text that uses great font to make it an interesting image. One of the things to note is when you're developing an ad for Facebook, and we'll get into this more detail in a second, you've got to be very careful about the amount of text that you include on your advertisement. Facebook doesn't like a lot of text involved because people can hide things within that. And they don't want spammy things going out into their beautiful, precious baby. They want to control the environment as much as possible. So to do that, they control what's called a text-to-image ratio. And they say you need, in an advertisement, you can only have a 20% text-to-ad ratio, meaning only 20% of the image can be taken up by text. Well, how do I know how much 20% truly is? Glad you asked. The other tool that's important in Facebook advertising and developing your creative content is you can search this, and I'll post this to our Facebook page. It's called the grid tool. If you simply search Facebook grid tool, this page will pop up, and you can click the link embedded within it. Now here, it allows you to upload an image that you've created, and I've gone ahead and downloaded the previous image so that we can leverage it here. Let me make sure I find it. And when you upload your image, you're presented with a grid. Your job then is to highlight the boxes in which your text content falls within. Now in this, there's only potentially really 4 boxes that it might cover. Really, probably only 2 or 3. Along the right-hand side, you'll see that it gives you the calculation for you and says, okay, your image is covered by 12% text. If marked properly, this image may be used for an ad on Facebook. It's a great tool for you to do a quick check and ensure that when you do run your campaign, that it's not going to get rejected as a result of violating the rule sets associated with Facebook. So remember that. It's the Facebook grid tool. Now back to Canva. From here, I can develop whatever content I want. I can upload my own photos if I have some photos. For example, maybe this is a great photo of the trip I took previously. I might want to use that photo instead. Okay. From here, I can choose now to download this image, and it's set up. Now, if I choose to use some of the images, stock images, within Canva that are premium content, which some of it is, it's really only $1 to use the information. So it's not that much of an investment. It saves you a lot of time of having to work through designing it yourself. From here, I can just publish to an image, and it will download the image for me. Now I can go into Facebook, back to my advertisement, and I can upload whatever image I want. So let's say I want to upload the image I downloaded previously. And it's going to upload that image for me. Okay, now it's involved. I'll get rid of this one for a second here, and I'm done. Okay, now that's my image. You can also add additional images to this advertisement. What that does is every time you add an image, it's an additional ad. It's going to say, I want to rotate out what image I have displaying to my target audience. Because I don't want them to get bored if somebody's seeing the same ad over and over again. I might want to rotate that out. That's a smart thing to do. I highly recommend that because it is likely, especially as you get narrower in your audience, that you'll see the same ad a couple times, if not a few, along the way. That's important that they do see it multiple times because in marketing we call it the rule of 7. And it really takes 7 touch points before it makes an impact. And usually we like the variation in terms of what type of touch points. But it can be effective to a level even at the same platform or the same communication approach. So the other piece of this, and both in the event and the, if I wanted to do different advertisement, is I can choose how people can see this. Maybe I'm only interested in people seeing this when they're on a desktop computer. This is the preview of a desktop for my ad. Or maybe I'm interested, maybe I'm not as interested in people seeing it on their mobile phones because it's just too small. The image doesn't come across quite right. I can choose to remove that from my advertising campaign, and it will no longer show up. Okay, I always add that back in, but that's a neat feature associated with it. And usually, I leave most of those on. The one I do tend to remove is that right column. Now, on Facebook, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but on the right-hand side of your profile page, you'll see these ads. I almost always ignore them. They don't have an impact for me, so I choose not to include them in my advertising. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Now, we've got our text. We said we know what we want to say for our text. And what did we say? We said something about tired about the corporate life. Let's get that. Wish you allowed you to work from here. Okay, maybe that's our approach. Okay? So I'm going to add that to my ad. Look at my preview. Awesome. So now this is about getting page likes on my page. And the call to action on this is automatically generated for you, and it's the liked page. That's going to allow somebody to start following you as a business. The headline associated with it can also be changed. So I might want to say, I think actually the headline for this only shows up in the right column. Let me add and show you. Yeah, good notice. It only shows up in the right column in this circumstance. In other advertising opportunities that we saw on the previous screen, you can sometimes change how this top area, like your page itself, reads. And you might want to change that instead of it being about your brand. Maybe it's another call to action along the way. So once I've set up my content, I've really thought about the textual components and I've thought about the image that I want to represent. Then I've already built my audience as well, so I know who exactly I want to target. And this I got rid of my previous, oh, nope, kept it, which is great. Kept all the situations I wanted. The next step is to talk about connection. Now, connections allow you to either promote only to the people who have liked your page already. So these are your current fans. I mentioned before that you still need to invest in communicating to your following, especially if you have a large following. It's posts that you make to your fan page organically, or meaning you haven't paid for it at all, will only be seen by 10 to 15% of your entire following, depending upon how often they interact with you in general. So the higher the interaction level, the more people that interact with you, commenting or liking your posts or sharing at your post, the more likely they're going to see your content. Talk a little bit about that at the Nussentials Family Reunion. It's called edge rank. And forget the term because you'll never use it again, but your interactions matter. You can go above and beyond that, or go over the head of EdgeRank and say, I want to invest in making sure people see my content. So I'm going to pay a little bit of money, but I only want to advertise to the people who are directly connected. For this circumstance, we're far more interested in bringing new people in. We're looking to gain likes for our page, not communicate or preach to the choir. So we're going to say not people connected to Nussentials Training, which is the name of the Facebook page I've created. There are some additional advanced targeting that you can use. For now, we're going to ignore this and get into it at a later date and time for those who are interested in that advanced approach. Oh, the one thing that fell off was like, that's a lot of people. It didn't get my location. Okay. So, all right. So now we're reaching 6,600 people. We're asking them to like our page about desktop, or desk job who, using that advertising slogan. And people that are not currently connected, so new people, important area. Now we're about setting up our campaign itself. Okay, how much are we interested in investing? Now it's important to pay attention, as I mentioned before, to what the market potential is. In this case, we had about 6,600 people. On the right-hand side, you're going to see an estimate for, based off the investment you are proposing, and it's going to pre-populate it for you initially. You were going to reach 440 to 1,200 people a day. Depending upon how your audience is structured, that's going to change and fluctuate a little bit. You can do a real-time testing to see how much it's going to take to reach the entirety of your market. So instead of $5 per day, maybe it's $50 per day. Okay, that's an extreme case. Well, we're going to, $50 a day, we're going to reach a lot of people, okay? But I may not be as interested in that because I know that my ad is going to be targeted and it's going to be rotated amongst that group. Some people will see it at the same time over and over, but new people will likely see it each and every day. So I'm only going to really invest in $5 per day to start out with, and I'm going to watch how successful that is along the way. The other thing is I'm not going to just say I want my ad to run continuously. Okay, this is not just a set it and leave it sort of situation. Maybe I'm doing, especially in the case of an event, we have an event end date or when the event happens, and you really need to know your numbers before, a couple days beforehand so you can plan. So I'm going to click the radio button below that and set my start date, which is today, and end it maybe a few weeks before. Now Facebook knows that I'm spending $5 over the course of 2 weeks, okay, maybe 3. It's saying that based off the number of days I have set, it's going to total $70. No more than $70, but maybe less. Because one of the neat things Facebook does is it doesn't say, I will always spend your $5. It says, I'm going to try to reach at least 440, if not 1,200 people every day. And if I can't get up to that number because other advertisers are competing with you, or the stay-at-home tennis-playing moms from Thornton, Colorado aren't getting on Facebook because there's a big tennis tournament, I just simply can't serve that many ads to them, they're going to make sure you don't spend all that money that day. That doesn't mean it builds up over time and also the next day they spend $8. They'll never spend more than the maximum that you've set. So once you've set your campaign price, you see the reach each day that you're going to get, of course, of 14 days. The last piece of this is bidding and pricing. Facebook is able to optimize how it shows your content, your advertisements, based on the behaviors of your target audience. So we've done some filtering along the way, but Facebook allows you to filter it a little bit further. Say, okay, if you're interested in getting people to like your page, and that's your intent for this, we're going to show this ad, more to the people that tend to like Facebook ads similar to your own, tend to interact in that fashion. Okay, if you had been advertising an event, maybe the optimization or the bidding process is focusing on those who tend to like or interact with events on Facebook. The other option is simply to generalize and say, no, I just care about impressions. I just care about people seeing the ad. I don't really care about focusing on the people most likely to look at it. The benefit of doing something like that is you're more likely to reach a little bit larger of an audience. The same person won't see your ad so many times in a row. Now, there are positive aspects to that, but we're looking for engagement, not just viewership. We want to start a relationship, not people just to know about us randomly. Okay, so Facebook usually optimizes your bid or your campaign for you in the best way, that based off of the end result you're looking for and that you'd already established before. Once we are done here, we can place our order. So I'm going to change things a little bit and say, because I'm actually going to place an order with you. Okay, we'll do 2 days. I'll just cancel it quickly. And we'll place an order. Now you've already had your credit card. If you don't have a credit card on the file yet, you'll be asked to create a credit card. I think before this, you can get to this page. But now our ad is going to go through the approval process, where Facebook robots somewhere in some darkened room that will eventually take over the world are going to review your ad image and make sure your text-to-image ratio is under 20%. Make sure you're not putting profanity in your text editor. So it's going to do a quick review and make sure it meets the guidelines it has set. Okay. Once it is approved, it'll start serving that ad. And usually it's pretty quick, and you'll get a notification in your little world button here in the upper right-hand corner. It'll give you a notification that your ad is approved. Now, a little tidbit, a little quick note is sometimes Facebook jumps the gun a bit, and it will send you an email, which will also send you an email to your personal profile's email address. It'll send you an email saying your ad's been approved, only to find out a day later you'll get another email and say, sorry, your ad was rejected. It didn't meet the guidelines. It's a little bit of a bug. I'm not sure what's going on there and why it does that. Just know that sometimes they jump the gun a little bit, and the robots don't know everything, which is comforting for me. So once your ad is placed, you're presented with your summary or analytics page. Now, there's a lot on here, and it can feel overwhelming at first, but it breaks down pretty simply. At the top is the summary of the information that you have given. The schedule, the current process, and this is an approval, or if it's been approved, it will then be delivering. The budget you have set and the amount that it has spent that day. As you scroll down, you can see additional information like how many page likes have you gotten? That's the result. What are you hoping to achieve? If it was an event that we had advertised, it would say how many event responses have you received. Okay. What is the cost of that result? What is the reach? How many people saw this advertisement, and how frequently have they seen that same advertisement? That becomes important because as you start getting into the number like 6 or 7 times when you've seen the same ad, you might want to consider rotating out your ad and doing something a little bit different. You can do that using the editor, creative editor below. You simply click edit, and you can change out your image or create a similar ad to this and run it parallel to your current effort. You can also change your targeting and broaden it a bit if you'd like to. So we can get into the details of this at a later date, but it's pretty straightforward. How frequently are people seeing it? How many times are they clicking it? What is their response as a result of it? Okay, and then a summary of the money spent. There's also the ability to look at your billing. If you click here, you can see what's been charged, and you'll get a monthly billing statement for tax purposes and so on. So that is most of what I wanted to show you here today. We have the opportunity now to develop new seminars. I think I have a great, let's see, saw that one, here we go. We have the opportunity to continue the conversation. We're going to continue this on Facebook, on the Nussentials Facebook page. Highly encourage you to go to that Facebook page. One of the most important things I'm going to show you here is when somebody is involved on your Facebook page, and we're going to go up to the Nussentials page. I'm going to change who I'm acting as. Up in the top, there's going to be a status called like, okay? If you click the like button on the Nussentials Facebook page, so it's you going to facebook.com/NussentialsFamily or Nussentials, you can click, and you've already liked the page. If you click like again, you'll get a little drop-down that says follow or get notifications, I think is what it says. Go ahead and click that get notification. That makes it easier for us, as your Nussentials corporate team, to deliver the information through Facebook directly to you. Now when you receive content, when I post something on Facebook or somebody else posts something on the Nussentials fan page, you'll get a little notification immediately that that has been posted. It's a very important step, and I highly recommend that you go ahead and do that. Again, visit this page, go to where you've already clicked like, click it again, and click get notification. As we continue to develop this webinar, we're always looking for feedback. Love to hear additional webinars that you would like us to talk about. So some of the examples that we are focused in on are how to develop an effective business page. We did a very top-level look at it here today, just so that you can understand advertising on Facebook. But we want to go into depth in the best practices and some really neat features that are out there that help you develop a more engaging page. We also can look outside of Facebook and look at Pinterest for those of you who are interested, or Instagram, or blogging, which is a big hot button right now because it creates a lot of content and richness and depth to your marketing efforts. So we encourage you to give us feedback on how we did, share with us on our Facebook page, continue to be involved in this webinar in the future, and thank you so much. As a special note, we will be posting this recording on our Facebook page as well as on our YouTube site as soon as it has been formatted correctly for you. So once again, my name is Jonathan McIntosh. I can be reached if you do have any questions at Nussentials.com. Macintosh.jonathan@Nussentials.com. Happy to answer questions or direct you to some of those resources we talked about here today. Thanks again.